Spyro the Dragon 4 is the fourth game in the Spyro series, and it came out on the 2000s sometime. I'm not sure exactly which year, but it came to PlayStation 2, and this game is much better than well, I've heard many other people say about it. Spyro the Dragon 4 is well, continuing the story about this purple dragon called Spyro, and well, just like the other games, you are quickly introduced to our main character and also to some side characters, and then fastly you are entering this mission to save something, because as always a bad guy is doing some stuff, and this time you get a return of the Ripto, which was the villain in Spyro the Dragon 2. He is now coming back, and you have to save dragonflies from, well, being caught by him. And yeah, that's the premise of the story, and then you start playing the game. So, you have to save dragonflies, you have to get crystals, as always, and you have to complete various levels before you can eventually fight the villain, the bad guy Ripto. And Spyro the Dragon 4 has many cool levels. This game has a lot less, has a lot fewer levels than the previous games, but the levels in this game are much larger. You have to collect more gems than ever before on each level, and you can spend more time than ever on each level, because the maps or the areas are much larger than the previous games, and it actually takes more time to go from one area to another. And that is actually one of the things that I don't like that much about it. But I want to start talking about the positive things, which is, as mentioned, that the level designs and yeah, the levels themselves are good. I think many of the various areas look cool and kinda original for well, for this game. Of course, there are similarities with other games and maybe movies you've seen, that these areas are being used over again. But yeah, I think they are looking nice, and I think that the persons or the people that made Spyro 4 has done a nice job making various areas. Yeah. And also the music and the soundtracks for each level are rather catchy, actually. This is maybe one of the games where I will go into YouTube and search for Spyro 4 soundtracks, because yeah, the music is nice. And there are also some side quests in each level that you have to complete. And those are, well, most of them are cool, I think, especially those where you are, you know, flying through rings and having a time trial. Also where you have to race other animals or beings in order to get dragonflies. I also think that I really do like the main area where you walk around and start the game, where you have to go from one level to another. You are, unlike the other games, you are now moving in one big area the whole time, which is connected with all the levels. And that's a green and nice area that is fitting perfect for my image of Spyro, because well, one of my favorite areas was the first from the first game, where you are walking in the green grass and yeah, the green areas. So I'm glad they made that main area in Spyro 4 the same looking. What else can I say about the game? Well, as mentioned, the music is good. The graphics look okay. They look decent. Just like a Spyro game should look, I guess. There is maybe a bit too much talking and conversation building with the NPCs, or the in-game characters that you meet in Spyro 4, and that can be a bit annoying. I still think the first game is the best one, simply because it has this long period without any dialogues and the fluidity. In Spyro 4 you do have, of course, longer sequences where you can just play and run around, which is lovely, but still you have to talk a bit to characters, and that's a bit annoying, because, I mean, who bothers reading that stuff anyways? Learn by doing is the best way. And also, as mentioned, the areas are a bit too big. Sometimes you have to travel for, I think, minutes, maybe. You have to run too far before you can get to where you want, and that's a bit annoying. Yeah, well, I do feel that many of the areas, even though they look nice, they are feeling a bit empty. Since they are so big, there should have been a lot more in there. That's what the previous 3 games did so well, I think, because they had a lot of stuff all around. You never felt alone in the Spyro games, because there were always enemies or NPCs or stuff. But here there's sometimes far between, and that feels a bit empty. It feels like they got a bit lazy with the game, maybe. I also have to criticize a bit some of the some of the gems that you have to find are simply too hard to find, and the same goes for some of the dragonflies that I had to go into YouTube and search for how to find this and that at least one time, because I just couldn't find it. And it was hidden ridiculously in the level. Also, some of the gems were very hard to find, as mentioned, so that was a bit annoying. And you don't want a game to be annoying when playing it. You want it to be, you want to enjoy it, which I did a lot. But the previous Spyro games I enjoyed almost all the time, because I didn't get so annoyed. Of course, there can be places you can't find stuff there also, but this game had more of those annoying areas. So yeah, Spyro 4 has a long playtime, and yeah, well, as mentioned, I do like the graphics, I do like the level designs, I do like a lot of the music, and I do like a lot of the various side quests that you are on. I'm not so fond of the tanks. I don't feel that Spyro should be sitting in the tanks shooting and stuff. But what I do like about Spyro 4 is that you're controlling Spyro all the time. Spyro 3 did something, tried something new. We're having other characters involved, but to be honest, that wasn't so good, simply because I didn't care about those characters that you're suddenly introduced to. So for me, Spyro is best when you stick to the main guy and controls him. Yeah. There could have been more story, I think, to the game. There is just maybe one cutscene in the start of the game, and then at the end, maybe one in the middle, where they try to tell, where is Ripto, the bad guy, right now, and stuff like that. But and that's one thing that the third game did very well, building up kind of a story. Also, the second game did that well. Or they could have done just like the first game, which hardly had any story at all, but was simply amazing because of the gameplay. Overall, Spyro 4 will get a 7 out of 10. But I do think that it's almost on par with the third game. And it's definitely a good game. Yeah, it's definitely a good game. So you should play it. If you enjoyed Spyro 1, 2 and 3, I definitely think you will enjoy Spyro 4, Hands of the Dragonfly. But you have to be patient, you have to run a lot for longer distances. You will probably maybe feel the same as me, that a lot of the game feels a bit lazily made, with a lot of empty areas, and they could have done a lot more to it. The game is actually, it's rather long. It's much longer than the first one, I think. And it could have been shortened down, actually. It could have been a shorter game. They could have made smaller areas, I think. So yeah, 7 out of 10, 4 out of 6 on the dice. So let's stop there.